Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in less than 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, can the president pardon himself? A surprise at the graduation ceremony in Parkland, Florida, and possible good news for breast cancer patients. Plus, Apple's announcements and a nose for your smartphone. All that and much more in less than 10 minutes. I'm Erica Mandy. Today is Monday, June 4th. You ready? Let's do this. President Trump probably wouldn't, but could pardon himself. Let himself off the hook from any possible criminal convictions. That's at least what the president's attorney, Rudy Giuliani, said on a couple Sunday morning political shows. Although he did say it's just hypothetical that he's talking about this, not something the president is actually planning to do. The Washington Post talked to some legal experts, though, who do not agree. And The Hill says even fellow Republican lawmakers were saying, yeah, that would be a bad idea. The topic was brought up because of a New York Times report about a letter from Trump's legal team sent earlier this year to the special counsel, Robert Mueller. He's the prosecutor looking into whether the Trump campaign colluded with Russia before the election. Well, the letter apparently made the argument that Trump couldn't be charged with crimes like obstructing justice because he's the president and has the power over all federal investigations. President Trump will be heading to the G7 summit in Quebec later this week, but there is already some drama. The finance ministers got together this past weekend, and all the countries but the U.S. joined forces. Canada, France, Germany, the UK, Italy, and Japan all put out a joint statement that they're concerned and disappointed with the new tariffs the U.S. just put in place last week. Remember, President Trump announced tariffs on steel and aluminum imported from the EU, Canada, and Mexico. The Wall Street Journal says it's pretty rare for G7 countries to come together like that and criticize one of its own members. But the U.S. Treasury Secretary is all no big deal. He says the U.S. still has a leadership role in the global economy. The G7 stands for Group of Seven, and it's an informal group of advanced democracies who meet once a year to talk about world issues. A news conference is expected today from students in Parkland, Florida, the ones who survived the school shooting back in February. They announced plans last night at their high school graduation, and they said they'll be calling for more gun control laws. USA Today reports the school honored 4 of the students killed. They gave diplomas to the victims' families. There was also a surprise speech. Tonight Show host Jimmy Fallon was there to encourage everyone and make them laugh a little. He thanked the students for their courage and bravery, and he told them not to rest on their laurels or yannies. It's been a full month now since the Kilauea volcano started erupting on the Big Island of Hawaii and spewing lava into nearby neighborhoods. The newest issue now? Some people who didn't listen to evacuation orders might be trapped, surrounded by rivers of that lava. At least a few of them are safe now. Reuters reports a helicopter airlifted some out yesterday. Lava is covering the 2 major highways in that area that were used as escape routes. Also, a different volcano is now erupting in Guatemala. ABC News reports more than 24 people have died in that one. Many more are hurt and thousands evacuated. Good news for some cancer patients. Most women with the most common form of early-stage breast cancer can safely skip chemotherapy. That's at least what a new big international study found. The AP calls it the largest study ever done about breast cancer treatment. Experts are calling it fantastic news that could change treatment plans pretty quickly. Of course, it doesn't apply to every patient, but CNN reports a gene test on a tumor sample could help figure out whether or not a patient really needs the chemo. And if not, other treatments can work instead. Of course, those likely have fewer side effects than chemo. All right, other things people may be talking about today. You may see more meal kits in the grocery store. By now, you've probably heard of meal kits. Think Blue Apron or HelloFresh. You get the ingredients of a meal in a box, pre-chopped and pre-portioned, ready to be cooked. Then you do the rest. Usually, it's delivered to your door. Well, now the Wall Street Journal says HelloFresh is doing the largest launch of meal kits in grocery stores so far. Starting this week, HelloFresh will start selling its meal kits inside hundreds of giant food and Stop and Shop stores. Those are all on the East Coast. But it's definitely not the only company doing this. Blue Apron already started selling its kits in Costco last month, and Albertsons bought the meal kit company Plated last year. You may notice some changes soon if you use Facebook. The trending news stories on the side of the homepage is going away. Instead, you'll be seeing breaking news labels on some news stories in your feed and other labels Facebook is starting to test out. It's all part of Facebook's attempt to stop so-called fake news from spreading on its site. Also of note, there may be some new Facebook privacy concerns. The New York Times is questioning Facebook's partnerships with dozens of device makers over the last decade. Think Apple, Samsung, and Amazon. And the Times says those companies may have had access to you and your friends' Facebook data over the years without your knowledge. Facebook says any data sharing was revealed in privacy policies. Apple may want to help you with your iPhone addiction. A new digital health tool is apparently part of a bigger announcement today. Bloomberg reports the company is expected to reveal features in the new iPhone operating system that can track how much time you're using your phone, and you can even set limits for yourself. Today's announcement should cover everything from augmented reality to running iPhone apps on your Mac. Apple will be live streaming this on its website starting at 10 a.m. Pacific time. I'll be back tomorrow with any of the interesting highlights. Don't worry, Android users, I have not forgotten about you. Bloomberg is reporting the new Samsung Galaxy Note smartphone will be coming out on August 9th. At least that's what some sources are saying. They apparently expect the phone to be called the Note 9 and have an upgraded camera system and faster processor. So stay tuned. In the future, we may not only be talking about a camera on a smartphone, but also a nose. Yes, what they can smell. Digital Trends reports researchers in Germany now have a prototype of a tiny electronic nose. It's meant to sniff things faster than a human. And it might be useful. It has the tech to evaluate gases, for example, or sniff out an electrical fire when it first starts. Maybe even be able to tell how fresh that fish is at the supermarket. No word yet on exactly when to expect that on the newest smartphone. It's better than most movies do on their second weekend in theaters, but The Hollywood Reporter says it's pretty disappointing for a Star Wars movie. Solo, a Star Wars movie, still got number one at the box office in North America, but it did not reach the goals Disney was probably hoping for. And the movie Deadpool 2 took back over the number one spot around the world. And that's it for today. Thanks again for listening. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button and leave a review if you get value out of this. As always, if you want to read more about any of the news stories we talked about today, go to the homepage of thenewsworthy.com. From there, click episodes and find today's date. The Newsworthy is ready for you to listen every weekday by 4 in the morning Eastern Time, so I'll be back with more news tomorrow. Have a great day.